Hello, and welcome to your Urban Connection. Now, I want to get right into this story because on last evening, there was a uh, presidential, it wasn't a State of the Union, but it was a message to the Congress, members of Congress, the congressmen and senators. Now, I didn't watch that show, and like an awful lot of you, I found myself watching with interest the Roland Martin show the entirety of the time that the president was speaking. So I didn't get to see his speech. But here's what I want to talk about. When I woke up this morning, I saw that, and I want to show these guys to you, but that uh, there was a petition that was, I guess, being passed around, and that there was a request on the part of at least one, if not two or three, anyhow, uh, members of white nationalist, white supremacy groups that were suggesting to the president that he pardon Derek Chauvin. Now, in case you didn't know who Derek Chauvin is, this is a police officer, ex-police officer, who's now sitting in jail in a state prison after having been found guilty by a state court and pleading guilty in federal court to the murder of Mr. George Floyd. Now, I want to show you these individuals and I'll explain to you who they are and why these guys find it necessary to ask for a pardon, which they don't. I want to show you one thing, too, that these gentlemen, and they're supposed to be three of the smartest guys in the country. I want to show you who they are. On the left here, you see the richest guy in the country, who is one of the very dumbest when it comes to American government and the way the law works in the United States of America. This is none other than Elon Musk. And in case you don't know, Elon Musk was born and raised in apartheid South Africa. Now, if you know what apartheid is, you know that apartheid means that South Africa was a totally racist country. Okay. And he was born and raised there, and he left there uh, about, uh, I guess, probably he was somewhere around 25, 26, and he migrated to Canada. And he stayed in Canada for just a very few years, maybe 3 to 4 years, and he found his way to the United States. Now, but here's the thing. While he left South Africa, the apartheid of South Africa never left Elon Musk. So when he came to this United States, he was already uh, born, raised, and inbred a white supremacist. Now, the guy down here is a guy who's an avowed, avid white supremacist by the name of Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk, of course, has a podcast here in the United States. And the guy up here in your upper right, this is Derek Chauvin. This is the former police officer in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And this is the guy that had Mr. Uh, Floyd on his stomach with his knee on his back or neck or both for over 10 minutes. He's guilty. He was found guilty. He was convicted. He was sentenced. And then he faced several charges on federal level, and he pled guilty. But this stupid idiot, Charlie Kirk, and this ignorant, stupid idiot, they don't have enough legal knowledge of how the legal system works in the United States to put in a sewing thimble. Now, if you know what a thimble is at about maybe 3/4 to 1 inch in height, okay, and has a circumference of probably around a quarter to 3/8 inches. Is used in sewing. Now, all of the women that know anything about sewing know what a thimble is. And these two guys together, Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk, do not have enough knowledge of the American legal system to fill a sewing thimble. That's how ignorant they are to the law. See, here's the problem. Now, I want to put up this guy that they are wanting the they're wanting this president to uh, they're wanting this president to pardon the officer for killing this guy right here. Now, this is George Floyd, okay? And this killing happened in, I believe it was 2020. Now, as I said, Mr. Chauvin is serving 21 plus years in prison. Now, as of today, he is in federal prison for one reason, because he did not want to be committed to state prison. And I believe his reasoning was he felt that federal prison would give him more protection. Okay, so he chose to go to federal prison, but he was not. He's not serving because of the federal guilty plea. He's serving because of the conviction. He was convicted by a jury of his peers in a fair trial, and he's serving over 21 years in prison. Now, so if these jokers had any knowledge of how the American legal system works, they would know that the president of the United States does not have the authority to make a pardon from a state prison. Well, you say, well, they pardoned the January 6th participants. Yeah, but those were federal charges that those guys were sentenced to. They went to federal court, not state court. Okay, and there's a difference. So the president, and I'm sure he would love to do it, and he would do it at the drop of a hat. And if he could have done it, he would have already done it. But he doesn't have the authority, and he has no control over what happens and what goes on in state prisons. So no matter how many petitions and how many signatures you have on a petition, and how many letters, and how many verbal requests or written requests that you make of the president, he does not have the authority to make a pardon for a former officer and former white supremacist and former racist, well, it's probably still racist, Derek Chauvin. So Mr. Racist, apartheid loving Elon Musk, and Mr. Charlie Kirk, self-profound, self-avowed white racist, good luck with that, okay? Because it's not going anywhere, my friend. I know you're chopping at the bits. You'd love to see that. You love to see your fellow white supremacists free of all charges and walk free out of that federal prison in Indiana. You'd love to see that, wouldn't you? Keep licking your chops, my friend, because it's not going to happen. And while you're at it, you and Mr. Musk, some of that money that you guys are spending in meddling in federal government, you might want to take a course or two on the legal system and how it works in the United States. Because right now, you have no clue, no idea, and no knowledge of what the president can and cannot do when it comes to pardoning somebody who's in jail, in prison, on state charges, not federal, state charges, okay? So therefore, you, or as they say, where I'm from, you're pissing in the wind, fellas, okay? And it's going nowhere. It's going nowhere. You've got no chance. You got as much chance as a snowball in hell, okay, of having this one approved. All right? Sorry, buddy. This just doesn't work. You see, what you should do is you should get your facts straight and know what the hell it is that you're asking for, and know what your racist president can and cannot do. Okay? I know what you're wanting him to do, what you're wishing for him to do. And Elon, no matter how much money you have, you cannot buy Derek Chauvin's way out of prison. Okay? It's not going to happen. Now, you might come around in 20 years, and maybe if he's been on good behavior, you might be able to help him get out on parole. Okay? But other than that, my friend, he's not getting out. I don't see it happening. Okay? So no matter how much money you have, remember this: money can't buy everything. And in this case, it cannot buy Derek Chauvin's way out of prison for the convictions that was handed down for his involvement in his brutal murder of George Floyd. No matter what you think or how you feel about George Floyd, okay? The man was convicted by a jury of his peers. The police chief in Minneapolis, Minnesota, said that that was the right verdict. Police officers who know more about the law than you do said that was the right verdict. Okay? He was convicted. And plus the fact that he went on then to plead guilty in federal court. All right? So accept it. I know it's hard. I know it's a bitter pill for you to swallow that a white officer who is a white supremacist is sitting in jail, and according to Mr. Clark's words, he's rotting in jail. So it bothers you that a white supremacist is rotting in jail for killing a black man. I know that's hard for you to deal with. That's hard for you to accept. It's hard for you to live with. But, you know, as the old saying goes, Charlie Kirk and Elon Musk, that's the way the cookie crumbles, fellas. Okay? I'm sure you've heard that before. So that's the way it is. So keep on passing that petition around. Keep on getting signatures on it. Keep on making telephone calls, personal visits to your racist president, and see where it gets you. See if any of that gets a pardon for Derek Chauvin for killing George Floyd. I'll be watching. Thank you for watching, folks. See you next time around.